Bum bum ba da dum bum bum ba da dum bum bum ba da dum bum. You're listening to a LAF Podcast review. Lucas, Adam, and friends. Lucas is unfortunately not with us today, but you still got good old Adam here, coming at you live. And I'm with my guest,
Steve.
Steve from Film Fan Movie Reviews.
The Film Fan Reviews.
Film Fan Reviews. Sorry. What did we watch today, Steve?
We watched the cinematic classic, Madagascar.
What an odd combo, because we watched The Matrix earlier today.
Yes.
Well, after that, we just wanted to review The Matrix first because we wanted to review what was fresher in our heads. We had more to say about The Matrix, let's be honest.
100%.
But go ahead. How do you feel about Madagascar?
So we'll just start off of, I actually got to see Madagascar during its release, but not in traditional theater. Got to see it at the drive-in.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, you said that, yeah.
And it's so weird how you can remember certain things like that from your childhood.
Mm. But
I loved going to the drive-in. I mean, it's actually still open. I go there sometimes during the summer back home in Michigan, but that's what I remember. That's the main thing I remember about this movie. And just actually when I got it on DVD, rewatching it all the time with my brothers. It's one of those movies from my childhood that's like literally on repeat a lot when we were younger, right around when the movie came out.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie from my childhood that I love. I definitely watched this in theaters. I remember I was very excited. One story that I love is my mom told me that when I was, like, I must have been 6, it was 2005 this came out, correct?
Right around there, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was deciding between a Spider-Man cake or a Madagascar cake, and I told the cake lady, I was like, oh, I'm going to go with Madagascar because the first 4 letters of Madagascar are my name backwards, which still is such a weird kid thing for me to have done. But yeah, no, I remember loving this movie and having an attachment to I got the whole trilogy. I watched it a lot growing up. I watched the first half, or at least 2/3 of this movie so many times. That to the point that, like, when we were watching the end of this movie, I was kind of like the whole 2/3, I can quote the whole thing, but the last third, I was kind of just like, actually, what happens? How does this end?
I'm with you there. I mean, the same thing kind of with The Matrix for me today, actually. But yeah, especially the first half hour when they're still inside the zoo, I could have told you every line that was happening, and I was having so much fun watching all the lines play out because I hadn't seen this. It's been years since I've seen this movie, and it probably was like on like TBS or something back when I was like a teenager. It's probably the last time I saw
let me point out that on that note, like, watching this movie now, I haven't watched this in years, but like all the references that I got now, like, yeah, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, got that when I was younger, but like, for example, the American Beauty reference.
Yeah, I realized that too.
And then what was the other movie? Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
No, I think I got that one.
That one was my favorite one.
But there's another, like, Oscar movie that they definitely homaged in this. Do you remember what it was?
I don't, but it's something. Because I remember thinking about it, but yeah, it's not coming back to me at the moment.
Damn it, it was another Best Picture winner. That's the annoying thing. As I remember thinking, like, I was like, oh, they're really, shouting out these Best Picture winners right now.
Well, when you have Ben Stiller and Chris Rock in it, especially, I don't know the writer specifically, but those two acting, I guarantee some of this stuff was ad-libbed, and they were probably just like playing off of it, and because those two are they're prolific comedians. Ben Stiller more a comedic actor.
I like the word prolific though, that was nice.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, they're just so good that you can get away, especially. The thing that really got me, though, too, was they were doing, like, physical comedy with animation.
Yeah.
And I could see, like, people doing this kind of stuff that they were doing, which was making me laugh even more thinking about it while watching it.
Paths of Glory. It was the Sugar Honey Iced Tea scene where they're like, dun 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 dun.
Oh, yep.
Dun. I just started watching Paths of Glory like a few weeks ago, and I just the opening scene, and I was like, oh, that's where this is from.
Marty.
Yeah, Alex. Because that's honestly, when I think of that song, excuse me, Jesus Christ. When I think of this song, I think of Madagascar. I don't think of Paths of Glory.
Yeah.
So that's why watching it now again as an adult, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah, I do. I love this movie. I think it's really funny. I do think it falls apart in the third act.
Yeah.
Like, gosh. That must be why, like, as a kid, that I just stopped watching it 2/3 of the way through, because the disc didn't break. It wasn't one of those, like, it's Shrek 2.
No, it definitely, like, it's going, and it drops a fair amount. And it starts to pick itself back up, but it's almost, like, too little too late.
And there's things I like about it. Like, I love this part where, like, he built, like, a little fortress for himself, and it's like a cage, like, in the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, pounces at Marty, and then he's like, I don't want to hurt you. I like that part really hit me. Everything else can fuck itself. I didn't care about it. It's really not. It's not that great. The first 2/3 are so much better than the last third of this movie, and I think I know why. I read a trivia thing while we were setting up, where King Julian was supposed to be a two-line character. Like, he wasn't even supposed to be in the movie that much. But Sacha Baron Cohen came in and
killed it.
Yeah, he auditioned for the role, and he's amazing. He's one of the best parts about this movie. And so
we
they
need
changed
to do Borat.
What?
We need to do Borat.
We do need to do Borat. But yeah, he changed the script. They changed the script because of him. And a lot of the plot revolves around Julian.
A lot more than it should.
Yeah, and it's about halfway through. Then it starts revolving around.
And he's a great character. Don't get us wrong at all. But it just, like, he didn't need to be in it as much. Like, yes, Sacha Baron Cohen is fantastic, but I don't think it was necessary to streamline. I'd like to see what the script was beforehand, because I feel like it would be a lot tighter.
I also would. I'm also kind of worried, like, where are all the animals in this movie? Because they're in a jungle. I mean, like, yeah, there's, like, little parts where you see, like, other animals, but, like, it feels like a very empty jungle to me.
Well, the same thing, too, when the penguins take the boat when they try to go to Antarctica or whatever.
Why would they send them to Africa in the first place?
Yeah,
it says their box says Kenya Wildlife Preserve Africa.
They broke out of the New York Zoo. They were still in New York, and for some reason the police just, like, boxed them up and sent them to Africa. Like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's not really brought up.
Well, I mean, it's a kid's movie, so I mean, I'm not, like, plot holes aren't a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
But like, it's still just funny things to point out.
The major thing was, like, all those other animals were still on that boat when they took it to Antarctica. And, like, because the monkeys were still in their cages and stuff, like, or still in their boxes or whatever when they came back to get the other animals.
I love that.
So I was like, why are these animals, all these animals are just okay? Like, no one's been feeding them, it's just other animals.
Oh, yeah.
But the penguins didn't let any of the other animals out, they just left them in their cages.
I imagine they did something, because he said they let them out on a slow lifeboat to
the people.
China. Yeah, the people. I love that scene though, where they get to Antarctica and they're just kind of standing there and it holds there for a bit.
Oh, I love that.
It's like, this sucks. What else do I love about? Yeah, I do. I'm not a big Ben Stiller fan, but I love him in this movie. I think he really shines.
Ben Stiller's great.
I think Chris Rock is perfect in this movie. David Schwimmer's in it.
David Schwimmer.
From Friends. And he does great. I think he's fantastic. Which is weird because he just doesn't... Can you name any other David Schwimmer movies?
He directed Run, Fat Boy, Run.
I did not know that.
It's a Simon Pegg movie.
I did
and
not
Tandy
know that.
Newton.
Holy shit.
The only reason I remember that is because on one of my DVDs that I watched all the time, there's always a trailer for it, and it's like, directed by David Schwimmer, and it's like, But I've never seen the movie. I've just seen the trailer a bunch of times.
Oh, man. But what's it called? I love him. And then Jada Pinkett Smith does a good job in this movie. From Matrix fame, as you all know, and love her from The Matrix. Actually, wait, it's kind of interesting. Jada Pinkett Smith,
married
to Will Smith, who was supposed to be...
Morpheus.
What?
No,
Morpheus?
he was Neo, my bad.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought he was supposed to be Neo.
Sorry.
Which,
I'm not racist.
We should have brought this up. We should have brought this up in the Matrix review, but that movie would not be the same with Will Smith.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, we're gonna go into Matrix a little bit. They were talking about before they announced the Wachowskis finally announced that they're gonna do it. People were like speculating. They're like, yeah, they're gonna just remake it all, and Michael B. Jordan is gonna be Neo, and blah blah blah. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that.
But let's get back to Madagascar.
Let's get back to Madagascar. Sacha Baron Cohen's great. Like, I like to move it. That part's a lot of fun. I remember my favorite part as a child, because I'm a New York fan, so I love the Giants. And he's like, where are you Giants from? And then he's like, New York. And he's like, all hail the New York Giants. New York Giants. And I was like, that's my team.
Yeah, that line meant something more today than it ever did before, just because I knew you were a Giants fan. So I just laughed.
There was a moment in the theater that I actually laughed out loud.
You did really loud, to the point where I could tell the old man and the little girl that next to us like reacted a little bit too, because they just got shocked by it.
Because he goes, what continent are we on? He goes, Manhattan.
Yeah, it made me laugh too, but it made me laugh more when you just like cackled out loud, because you caught everyone off guard. All three other of us.
Because just how just so stupid that is, and how we like over he's Manhattan. Oh god, it's great. What other great moments are? I love when he's like, when he makes the help sign, and then it falls down and it just says hell.
Yeah.
That's great.
The same thing with like he made like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And then Melman just burns it all down.
Melman, he's like that's wildfire. We can't use wildfire.
Yeah.
And he's like sitting there using the crate wood to like make a fire, and he just like finally like puts it together. And he's like, fire.
Well, the same thing too. Like when they finally go to the fun side of the beach, and they go over to Marty's little house that he made, and the door just like not really needing to be a door there at all, made me laugh so hard. Because he's sitting there talking to him through a door, and he just opens it up, and they zoom out, and it's just like a door in the middle of nothing.
Yeah, and that was so funny because there's so many locks in this fucking door.
Yeah.
Like it's obnoxious. So I don't know if you know this. There's a Disney movie came out. I want to say around the same time called The Wild.
Yes. I think my
see
mom
that?
actually, I've seen it, but I do not remember it at all. My mom actually, I think, bought it on DVD. Like, she just, like, saw it at the store when we were going to babysit. And she was like, I'll just grab this new Disney movie, whatever. But yeah, I remember nothing about it.
2006, actually. It was a year after.
So they were trying to bank off Madagascar fame with
It's
zoo
just one
animals.
of those things. They bank off Madagascar. It's just one of those things I feel like where it's like Deep Impact and Armageddon. Or was it Independence Day? I don't care. Olympus Has Fallen and
White House Down.
White House Down. You know, like it's like the two studios made the same movie, and I would say DreamWorks took the cake on this one.
100%. Yeah, Disney. Like I said, this movie, we could do all the lines for the first 2/3 of this movie.
Yeah.
The Wild, I couldn't even tell you who's in that movie.
I just remember the wildebeest, and there was like, I'm having a pretty nice day, pretty nice day, pretty nice day.
I think there's like a koala that's in it. That's all I can remember.
Funny.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think it's Eddie Izzard. I was like, well, I want to bet it's Eddie Izzard. I just remember Kiefer Sutherland in that whole movie.
Jeez.
Oh, and William Shatner plays the villain. It's a good movie.
I'm kind of curious to see this again now.
I
do not remember anything about
it. But I think the animation's more realistic, I think, but I think the animation works better in Madagascar, which is one thing I noticed while watching Madagascar, is that some of the animation's not great. Like the water and the hair.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, it was definitely a little bit it didn't look as crispy as I remember.
Yeah, which maybe just because I got glasses, but since I've seen this movie. But yeah, no. But it was 2005, so for 2005, I think it's really good.
100%.
There's so many great moments. I love when they get caught in the what's it called, Grand Central Station, and Melman's like, "We're running out of time," and he's got the clock on his head.
The same thing with the old lady with the purse. She like became a character. Like, I bet when they were making that, they probably didn't know that would be such an impactful moment in that movie.
Yeah, it really is. And then what's it called? I love when Alex like sees the newspaper on the subway and he's like, the Knicks lost again. And Melman's just like, what are you gonna do? I was like, that hit me because I was like, yep, that's such a Knicks mentality that I appreciate so much. And just little moments like that. And the penguins are so great.
Yeah, like seeing that as a kid, the penguins were my favorite part by far. Mm-hmm. To the point where when they announced that they were doing a Penguins TV show on Nickelodeon that went for a fair amount of time.
I watched it.
When they announced that, I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer because everyone loves the Penguins.
And I watched the spin-off movie too in a theater.
I forgot there was a movie. I never saw that.
There's one really funny running gag. Benedict Cumberbatch plays the villain. I think it's a squid. I don't care. No, it's a wolf. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, and he's like, he's telling his squid, henchman, and like he's like, Nicholas, cage them, and just other stuff like that. He just keeps saying celebrities' names, as like commands to his henchmen, and it's a great running gag.
When you just said Nicolas Cage, then I did not even happen in my head until you said the celebrity name thing. I was like, okay, the character's named Nicholas. I don't know why that's funny.
Yeah, no,
and then when you said that, I was like, oh shit.
It's like a really great, well thought out joke in such a dumb movie, and it's such a. I just don't think that should have made that movie. Like they're a great side character. Let them stay a great side character. Because I don't like when they take the comic relief and make them the main character. Can you think of a movie where they took the comic relief character, made him the main character, and it was a good movie?
No.
I think Cars 2.
I remember very few things about Cars 2 other than that Mater was the main character for some reason.
Finding Dory.
I have not seen Finding Dory.
Like
You're just going after a bunch of movies. You're like hitting all my Disney holes right now.
All my Pixar hate. Which I want to bring that up. So, what's wrong with DreamWorks? Like, why are they miles behind Disney and Pixar? Well, specifically Pixar. Let's talk about.
I mean, even lately, Leica has taken lead on DreamWorks lately.
Oh
DreamWorks
yeah, no,
hasn't really
I can't
found
remember when
that
the
much
last
success.
DreamWorks hit was. Like, I liked Kung Fu Panda 3 and I liked How to Train Your Dragon 3, but like, yeah, those are obvious. Those are like sequels to great movies. But like, when was the last time they had a really great original movie? Boss Baby? Turbo? Home?
No, I wouldn't even... Like, Kung Fu Panda was like the last big series that they've had, really.
Yeah, because I even asked you in the car, I was like, what's your favorite DreamWorks movies? Like the first couple Shrek movies are great.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kung Fu Panda. I think Kung Fu Panda 2 is the best animated sequel of all time. If you don't count Toy Story, because that's cheating.
We're doing DreamWorks.
But yeah, no. How to Train Your Dragon movies are great.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 is my personal favorite.
I love that one. I have that on Blu-ray. Madagascar movies are really good, and then B Movie, and I like Over the Hedge. But other than that, they're all utterly forgettable.
The Road
movies.
The Road to El Dorado is a great movie that I saw in theaters.
But that's the thing. No one saw the Road to El Dorado. There's a reason why they stopped. Did anybody see Road to El Dorado?
Me, my brothers, and my mom did. I'm pretty sure there's like original music from Elton John or something in that movie too, if I'm not mistaken.
I know.
It was right around that time where Elton John was doing a bunch of music for kids' movies.
People have told me to watch that movie before, and it's Elton John, and I still just haven't gotten to it. Yeah, no, it tanked. It had a $95 million budget and only made $76 million, which you got to cut the budget in half and add that to what the original budget was, because that's marketing. So it definitely was a big loss.
I'm looking at more DreamWorks here, and all of these movies are much older. They're from like my childhood, but Flushed Away was very entertaining. You said Over the Hedge. It's alright. You said Over the Hedge. I adored that movie when it came out.
I like Over the Hedge.
Chicken Run though. Chicken Run was my jam. Mel Gibson was the main chicken.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
And it's like it has that like Wallace and Gromit animation.
Mm-hmm.
Which Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, stop motion claymation.
The Curse of the Were-Rabbit movie. I remember that. That was pretty funny too.
Yeah. But
like, yeah, they haven't really like.
Well, here's my point. Like, okay, let's talk about best animated movies of all time. Forget Disney. Let's just take Pixar and DreamWorks and make a top 10 list. There's no DreamWorks movie that's better than any Toy Story movie. That's better than Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Up, Ratatouille, WALL-E.
Like in the pantheon of animated movies, pretty much the only DreamWorks one that can pretty much sneak its way in of being pretty iconic is Shrek. Shrek's pretty much the only one. Like How to Train Your Dragon has a lot of fans now, but if you think about it,
How to Train Your Dragon. I love Madagascar. I love Kung Fu Panda, but that doesn't really hold any.
And How to Train Your Dragon just ended. 5 years from now, kids won't be thinking about that.
No one cared about it now.
Yeah, like when I saw it in theaters, I thought I was gonna go to like a bunch of like packed showtimes. I had like a whole row to myself when I saw How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Yeah, no, I snuck into the theater to watch that one because that was before I had AMC. A-list. And like I was upset because I was like, oh, they're definitely gonna know that I snuck into this theater because no one's here. So they're gonna be like, oh, this theater should be empty. Let me cross this off. Oh, hello, one person. What are you doing here?
One more really funny story.
Mm-hmm.
I went and saw a movie. I can't remember what it was called anymore, but it was not good. Like it's probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago now. It was like toward the end of the movie, and I had to pee really bad, and I knew it was ending, and the movie was awful.
What was it?
I'd have to look it up real quick, but anyway, I'll keep telling the story.
You know you watch a lot of movies when you don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm at like 80 something right now.
Jesus Christ, I think I'm at like 40.
In theaters, but so I went to the bathroom. I came back to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one in the theater. They shut off the movie, and I was like, you know what? I like looked up at the projection booth, and I was like, this is fine. I'm out, because I was so over the movie. I gotta remember what it was called.
Wow, jeez.
But I just went home. I was like, yeah, this movie's. It was called Echo. ECCO.
Yeah, no. You watch some movies, don't you?
I try to see everything, so I can share my opinions on things. But yeah, there was really cool action in it, but that's about it. The story was awful, and I went back to the theater, and I didn't hear anything. It was one of those theaters in Regal that has like a hallway to go to the theater.
Yeah.
And I wasn't hearing anything, and I was like, there should be at least music playing. Credits should have started rolling by now. And it was just off. The lights were all on, and the screen was off. I was like, all right.
That's so funny to me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. What do you think they're doing wrong, DreamWorks specifically? Like, are they? I think they're focusing too much on jokes, and they're like trying to be, like, I don't think they're finding a good medium, because, like, they have jokes that are extremely for kids, like, haha, they got hit, haha, that's funny. And then they have the adult jokes where it's like they're referencing American Beauty and Paths of Glory, and no kid's gonna care about Planet of the Apes.
Well, yeah, and
you know?
Disney and Pixar, they do a better job of like finding a medium rather than like this joke is specifically for the adults, the kids won't get it. This joke is specifically for the kids, and the adults will hate it. Disney does a better job of finding that middle ground of like, it's the adult jokes are still kid enough where the kids aren't like, I don't understand what that means. But they're still adult enough where the adults aren't sitting there like mad, bored, and want to go home already. Disney does a better job of finding that middle ground.
I want to say that Pixar's more focused, because like most of the movies have 1 or 2 protagonists, but like there's so many like where ensembles from DreamWorks, like Over the Hedge, like Madagascar movies, like I can't even think.
Well, if Pixar didn't have Disney, you could probably. I don't see this history of Pixar being as big as it is right now.
Really? They were great before Disney.
They had Toy Story
and Bugs Life.
But I don't see like DreamWorks was like the main thing, and then Toy Story happened, because like it seemed like they were like on the move before Pixar just a little bit. And then Pixar just shot up ahead of them.
Well, I would argue it's there was never a time where DreamWorks. The only time where DreamWorks dominated anything is when it won the first best animated feature Oscar for Shrek, which that I feel like I don't think Shrek is better than Monsters Inc. I think there's a lot of reasons that went into why Shrek won, but like because it was Disney, and then once the Disney Renaissance ended, they handed it off to Pixar. And then Pixar had it for the longest time, and then right around I would say like 2000, right after Toy Story 3, so like right around Cars and Cars 3, Cars 2, Brave, Monsters U, and all that stuff. I like Monsters U, but like there's still a clear like drop in quality. Mm-hmm. That's when Disney took it back, because then you have movies like Tangled were so great, Big Hero 6, Frozen was a huge hit, Wreck-It Ralph, people love Wreck-It Ralph, and so there's never a point in time where DreamWorks was able to, like, lead in anything.
No, and that's why there's still rumors that another Shrek movie is going to happen. Because pretty much what they're...
I thought that was confirmed.
I can't remember if it's confirmed yet or not, but that's pretty much their go-to at this point, because they kind of capped it off perfectly with How to Train Your Dragon, where if they try to do any more, they're going to ruin it.
Yeah, don't touch How to Train Your Dragon, don't touch Kung Fu Panda, don't touch Madagascar, don't touch Shrek. most of the stars aren't even working anymore. When was the last time you saw Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, or Eddie Murphy in a movie?
Mike Myers is in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, for a moment. He's great.
And he's doing like a TV show now too.
Oh,
and Eddie Murphy is like doing a renaissance right now too. He's
he's on SNL, isn't he?
He's gonna be coming soon, but he's releasing a new movie on Netflix like next month or something like that.
Oh, that's exciting.
And he says he's starting to like write jokes because he's gonna do another stand-up special too.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it's pretty much the Eddie Murphy renaissance, and he's doing Coming to America too.
He is.
Is it Coming to America 2 or 3? I don't think they made a sequel.
2. Please say it's 2. I don't want there to be more than one. The first one's great, so it bothers
but he's
me.
gonna do a sequel to Coming to America. I think that might be, if it hasn't already started filming, it's like happening very soon.
I don't like that. I remember. Is this the best Madagascar movie?
You'll have to take that one on your own because I don't remember the other two that much.
All right, I'll go into it a bit. I like the sequel. The only part that really I remember that stands out to me, besides Moto Moto, you remember Moto Moto from the memes? He's like the male hippo. Besides him, there's the one joke where they first come to Africa, and like Alex is like, I got this, and he starts like performing like trying to do sign language and how they got there. We came here in plane, and like they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? That's a great joke. But other than that, that's a kind of forgettable movie. And then there's the third one. Oh yeah, because it feels like a TV episode in the second one, because they each have their own little tiny.
They all have their own separate stories.
Yeah, arc, and it's fine. The third one is, I think, my favorite one, because there's a clear villain who's great, the policewoman. I love all the new characters. It's visually beautiful. And at the end, there's a lot of action in that too, actually. The whole escape scene at the beginning is really awesome. And then at the end, like the closure they get, because it's like they finally get back to the zoo. And it's like dark and like not as like fun and full of life as they remembered. And they're like, oh, we need to go back to the circus. They realize that, they don't need the zoo. Basically, like they learned the same lesson they learned the first one, which is all we need is each other, to be happy. So that's really cool. I don't know why they leave, after the second one, why they go to Europe. Yeah, because Europe's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I remember the title. I probably need to rewatch that movie, especially if you're saying it's your favorite one, because I don't remember anything about that movie.
I think so. Maybe it's just a juxtaposition of I watched it the first time and I was like, oh fuck this, it's bullshit. How's the tiger go through that tiny little ring? And then I remember being like, oh no, it's really good. Like after I let it marinate for a while.
Well, I feel like I've seen it, but I'm not that sure. Like the more you keep talking about it, the more I'm like, I don't remember any of this.
That's the thing. They're not. DreamWorks does not. Even their good movies are not that memorable. Like Kung Fu Panda 3, all the How to Train Your Dragons blend together for me.
The second one's great.
I remember being disappointed with the second one because I was like, I wanted a big climactic, like a villain that would carry over into the third one, but it was just kind of like its own movie, and I was like, oh, it's fine, but like I wanted an overarching trilogy plot.
In kids' movies, you can't really carry over villains because you can't have it be anything but a happy ending, just about.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but Madagascar. Because I think I'm nearing my end on Madagascar here. A movie that I really enjoyed from my childhood. Yeah. Would you recommend this to kids today?
So our experience today, there was a young girl in there. I can't really tell if she was enjoying it as much. It definitely felt like I heard her a little bit asking. I'm pretty sure it was like her grandfather or something. Mm-hmm. She was like asking questions, and I was like, oh, she may have never seen this movie before, and it's pretty cool that she's experiencing it for the first time in a theater. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I would hope kids would enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't know if the animation, like, kids would probably try to make fun of it these days.
Yeah, I think... I still think this is a good movie. Give me your rating.
It has so much heart, and I think the comedy alone stands completely on its own to where it warrants people to watch this movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if new audiences will respect it as much as people that grew up with it will love it as nostalgia purposes. Mm-hmm. But on a 5-star rating, it's like I don't want to go too high for nostalgia, but it's like 3.5, 3.75, like right in that sweet spot. Because especially with kids movies, unless they're like a Toy Story, I can't really go like a perfect score like that.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I was like, objectively, I would say, like, if I put on my critic glasses and was like, okay, let me rate this movie, I would say it's a 3 out of 5. Hard 3 out of 5 because it's enjoyable, but it's nothing special at all.
I think the actors alone warranted a little higher up for me.
I would personally go 4, just because it's a movie that means a lot to me. Like, I still have the Madagascar towel, as my birthday cake and everything. I love this movie. I know all the jokes. I quote it in my everyday life.
Well, and like, you're kind of disappointed when you say you don't like Ben Stiller.
I do. He's good in Night in the Museum. I just am not a fan of Meet the Fockers. I actually don't think I've seen them all the way through.
You don't really like those movies. Aren't what he's good in.
What is he
like,
good in? Zoolander's alright.
Zoolander is great. Dodgeball is great.
He's in Dodgeball. Oh yeah, he's the villain in Dodgeball.
He's like the main character, yeah. Like
Yeah.
other than Vince Vaughn. But he's just, you have to see more Ben Stiller movies, especially Heavyweights. Have you ever seen Heavyweights?
No.
We're doing that on this podcast. I own it on DVD. It's an old Disney movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
And it has like a young Kenan Thompson.
Oh,
It
is that
is-
like the one where it's about fat camp or
Yeah.
something and he's like really mean to the kids?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He like buys the camp, and it's actually the person who owned the camp were his parents, like his real life parents.
Oh, okay.
Were the people that owned the camp, and then he bought it from them and like tried to like make like a TV infomercial type thing out of the camp of like making all these fat kids skinny and trying to like make him like his own brand kind of thing, and being really really mean to these kids. And it's a really good movie though.
No, I think I didn't give Ben Stiller enough credit. I do like him. I just can't name too many. Like, his hit is Zoolander, and I'm not too big of a fan of Zoolander.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Zoolander, but I understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I think he's perfect in this though. He's fantastic. He does exactly.
I would love to hear him do more voice stuff. His voice alone, just like, and when you need to see more of his like good comedies, because I think you would like him a lot more. Because he has that kind of humor where it's like, he's always like the straight man, but then like he gets put in these crazy situations where he's like a fish out of water, and that's what makes him funny a lot of times. But then when you go to Dodgeball, he's a straight villain. And
I like him in Dodgeball more.
and he's great as a
He's
straight
allowed to have
villain too.
fun.
But he doesn't really do like. And then if you like him as a villain in that, you would love Heavyweights because he's a hardcore villain in that.
And I like Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I've not seen that movie. It's one of those movies that's like, I love Ben Stiller and I need to see it. But when it came out, I was like, I just wasn't watching movies at that time.
And I hate Along Came Polly. I hate that. You know the movie with Jennifer Aniston?
Oh no, I'm aware of it.
I'm aware.
I think it's funny.
I'm a big fan of Everybody Hates Chris.
But
Like, I
actually-
love Chris Rock, so I was really happy with him in this movie.
We watched a clip from a movie, but I can't remember which one it was. I think
Ben
it was
Stiller.
something about Mary.
Oh, I have to see that also.
We watched a clip
I
from
got
it.
it on Blu-ray.
We watched a clip from it in one of my classes recently.
Mm.
I was like, damn, I forgot how funny this movie was.
Yeah,
But I think it might have been
gotta
Along
watch
Came
that.
Polly actually too. It was like a scene with his boss was Alec Baldwin,
I just want to point out
and that scene was
I think
hilarious.
our Madagascar review is almost as long as our Matrix review.
But we talked about Matrix, and this one we talked about
We
DreamWorks.
We did. Oh yeah, it was more about DreamWorks in general.
So Rob, when you title this, you can call it Madagascar and DreamWorks.
Yeah, Madagascar and DreamWorks analysis. But yeah, no. So good movie. Enjoyable nostalgia fest. Steve, would you like to plug anything?
Oh yeah, you can visit my review channel on YouTube, The Film Fan Reviews. You can find me on there. Always doing some fun stuff, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Again, Lucas, we miss you.
Very much so.
And I'm trying to carry us right now, but what's it called? You've been listening to Laugh. So thanks for laughing with us. Lucas, Adam, and Friends podcast where we talk about movies and whatever the hell we want to talk about. Thanks for joining us, guys.
And
Like
friends.
this, share this, show your friends. Watch Madagascar. Watch the third one.
Watch movies, guys, and go to the theater.
Yeah, go to the theater. Yeah, if you check the theater because they're showing. We watched both these movies in a theater today, and that was really awesome.
Yes.
I thought.
Love nostalgia.
Oh hell
It's
yeah.
not just Stranger Things, guys.
Well, thank you for listening, and I don't know what we're doing next. All right.
We'll play that by ear. We're gonna see what's going on.
All right. See you later, guys.
See ya.